Welcome to our first session in the soft skill series. In this session, we'll be talking about business communication. We all communicate every day, right? With friends and family and colleagues. So how is business communication different from your communication with a friend or for that matter, a stranger? While you're still pondering over and taking a deep dive to find the differences, let me share the most basic and obvious difference with you. It is your audience. What do you think about when you hear the term audience? When I think of the term audience, I'm taken back to my childhood. A time when street plays were organized by different groups during the time of festivals, and the entire atmosphere reverberated with a buzz. But a business audience is very different from the audience that you would otherwise find in a movie theater or a stadium. In part 1 of our business communication session, we'll take a quick look at different types of communication styles and personalities and talk about profiling your audience. As you go through these topics, think about how you contextualize the term audience. What has it meant for you in practice? What types of audiences have you been a part of and communicated to? And what has been your primary medium of communication? The objective of this session is to ensure that by the end of this session, you will be able to assess an audience and tailor your message to its unique characteristics, define the purpose of your communication and target action through your words, select an appropriate medium for conveying the information that addresses both the audience and purpose of communication. You all know that every person, every individual has their own communication style and personality. And you would have also seen this around you. Some people are shy, soft-spoken, timid even, whereas others are confident, always eager to charge forward, very firm in their communication. You would have also noticed people who speak only after they have considered all pros and cons of their communication. For the sake of simplicity, communication personality styles have been broadly classified under 4 categories: caretaker, director, analyst, and entertainer. So caretakers are individuals who focus on the feelings of other people and believe in effective collaboration. Director, as the name suggests, are individuals who are very hardworking and ambitious. They tend to be business leaders, leaders of their groups, class monitors, who strive towards delivering excellent results. Directors are apt to be decisive, competitive, hard-driving, and good at delegating tasks to others. Analysts. Analysts are individuals who are quick to think and slow to speak. An analyst person values accuracy in the details and likes to be right. Well, we all like to be right, but these are individuals who plan thoroughly before deciding to act. They are persistent, highly organized, cautious, and logical. That brings us to number 4, the entertainer. Entertainer is an individual who loves to have fun and enjoys helping others. This person is full of ideas and just can't wait to share them with others. Understanding characteristics of your communication style and those of your co-workers can help you strategize the best ways to communicate to achieve your work goals. Let's now move on to profiling the audience. As initially mentioned, the only difference that you will see in your communication, day-to-day communication and your business communication would primarily depend on your audience. So how do you profile your audience? Peter Drucker once mentioned, communication takes place in the mind of the listener and not the speaker. And you would have also heard many a times your friends or your parents or people around you say that a person would only hear what that individual really wants to hear. So it's all in their mind. It's not about you at all. It's about your audience and getting a message across to them in as clear and articulate a way as possible. That means that every choice you make when you're communicating is directly dependent on who you are speaking with or writing to. Focusing on your audience and not yourself is the single easiest way to transform and strengthen your communication strategy. You not only need to know who it is you're writing for or communicating to, you also need to know the purpose and the platform of your communication. To begin with, you should always ask yourself some questions at the outset of a communication task. Who is my primary audience? So your primary audience are the people that you're directly targeting with your communication. And it's extremely important to separate them out from your secondary audience. Your secondary audience are people who would also receive your communication but indirectly. So let's say, for example, you're sending out an email to someone. The individual that you're sending out that email to is your primary audience. And if there is somebody else who's been marked copy on that email, that is your secondary audience. So what you need to ask yourself is who sorts through and organizes the inbox of the CEO or MD you're writing to? Who are the people sitting in the audience of your keynote address at a conference? Who are your key influencers and decision makers? If you're delivering a presentation on financial products and 50% of your audience consists of IT professionals, how will you tailor your address and retain their interest? See, when you have a diverse audience or one with competing interests, catering your message to these key influencers is particularly relevant. What you need to ask yourself is, what is the level of understanding of your audience? What type of words you can use to convey the information? What is it that your audience already knows, and what is it that you need to explain? Is your audience familiar with the industry that you're talking about? You need to assess the level of understanding when you are selecting content and language. You have to gauge the audience's reaction. Addressing a hostile audience is very different than speaking to people who are already sold on your idea. And finally, you need to ask yourself if you know the age, gender, occupation, socio-economic position of your audience. What is it that they need to know? What drives them? What gets them excited? How do they access their information? Before you sit down and start creating a communication, whether it is a written communication or it is an oral address, ask yourself, who is my audience? What is it that they want? What is the information they already have? And how am I going to deliver my communication to them? This brings me to the end of part 1 of our business communication session. I will be back with part 2 of business communication, where we will be talking about discovering your purpose. Don't forget to subscribe the channel so that you get a notification when the next video is uploaded.